Hey everyone, Big Pauly back for a cinema trip. Oh yes, this is a biggie. Oh yes, I'm just down at Cineworld, about to go in and watch Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Oh yes, forget all this intellectual dialogue shit. I just want to see monsters shitting on other monsters. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to go and get my parking ticket, get a few snacks and get in the cinema because I've only got about 20 minutes and it's mayhem. So I'll see you in the cinema. Okay, so just out of seeing Godzilla, King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters. Okie dokie. Well, what did I think? On the most part, yes, very positive. Takes a little while to get going. I'm kind of thinking, come on, where's Godzilla? As they slowly introduce these creatures, these monsters throughout the film. The final showdown is really good. You can see the whole $200 million budget on screen, and they don't spare a cent. I still don't think there's enough Godzilla action in it, but there were certain things I did have a problem with. For starters, some of the other creatures, some of the other monsters, some of them didn't have enough screen time because there was too many of them, and they didn't really give me that much of a excitement factor. No. That's one thing about the 2014 Godzilla. You know, although Godzilla may not be on screen as much as he is in this one, and with the other creatures as well, when they do eventually show up, it's like, holy shit, give them hell. Give them hell. Yes. The biggest problem with the film, I mean, the action is good. The action, there's no problems with the action and the destruction. There's a much more emotional impact with the destruction in films like Deep Impact and Armageddon and Independence Day. And when in those films, when you're going up against a big bad, whether it be alien or monster, there is an emotional attachment. You do feel something. When the monsters were on scene, you know, on the screen, with Godzilla fighting Rodan and all the others, it was like, wow, you know, these two are just going at it. There's no like, come on Godzilla, go for it, or holy shit. There was none of that. So there was a lacking of emotion with the monsters, for my part anyway. Also, the human element, the human characters, I didn't give a shit about any of them, to be perfectly honest. There's a backstory with Kyle Chandler and what's her name, Vera Farmiga, and Millie Bobby Brown, but I wasn't bothered about that. And there's just really no impact. There's just really no emotional attachment with the characters. Even when certain characters have their deaths, it's like, that one's gone. So it's not, yeah. So far as an action piece, a summer blockbuster action piece, then if you're going into the cinema and you want to see monster on monster tearing up the screen, then it's okay, then it's good. But when you take into consideration, you get these films like, you know, these summer blockbusters like Jurassic Park. Now, when the dinosaurs were on screen in Jurassic Park, it was a spectacle. I'm not saying this is not a spectacle. But you also have the human side of it, you know, with Ian Malcolm and with the kids, you know, in Jurassic Park. You cared about the kids, and even Richard Attenborough's character, you know, he was on screen for very little time, you know, at a time, but you cared if something happened, or if he was feeling emotional, you felt the emotion with him, which is something that Spielberg does really well. So I was a little bit disappointed that there was absolutely no emotional attachment to any of the characters. Because I know it's supposed to be about Godzilla and it's supposed to be about the monsters, but it would have been nice to have these humans and going with the journey with these humans against the monsters, and rooting for the humans as much as the monsters. But it's a bit of a shame. But all in all, it was a pretty good action film, a pretty good monster film. I wouldn't say it's as good as the 2014 one. I think I preferred the 2014 one much more because, I mean, even the characters with like Elizabeth Olsen, and the bridge scenes, and there were action scenes in the 2014 one that took my breath away. You know, like when the EMP happened and all the jets just fell out of the sky into the sea, and like I say, the bridge scene, but the sounds as well. The sounds of the creatures in the 2014 were more impactful. You know, when you've got so many creatures on screen at one time like this one, you've just got growling here. There's nothing that stands out. To the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, that's what I'm talking about. Something of that kind of massive caliber that impacts you and sends shivers down your back. And I did feel that in the 2014 one. You know, when Godzilla actually does it for the first time and just lets rip, and you're thinking, holy shit. So yes, I think the 2014 one was a lot better than this one. Having said that, this is just me personally, I don't think either of these, 2014 or the 2019, are as exciting as the 1998 Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich one. For me, that is my Godzilla film. That's the one that I kind of grew up on. I feel more attachment to that one, and I just love the action and the scenes in that one, and the characterizations. It's, you know, it's kind of like comedy elements. There was a few throwaway comedy lines in this one, but they didn't really work. They didn't really stick. No one laughed. It just didn't connect. I don't think the human element connected with the audience, unfortunately. But other than that, it was a pretty good 2 hours for an action romp. The music wasn't anything to shout about, you know. It's just no iconic themes or anything like that, you know. Going back to Jurassic Park again, or Independence Day, you know, or Stargate. You could go on with these iconic scenes, but you know, these iconic music. But no, it was just a general score. So that was a little bit, you know, upsetting that we didn't have a really big musical recognisable score. But it was what it was. So it was an enjoyable 2 hours. I didn't find myself getting bored or anything like that, but it still kind of left me thinking, is that it? You know, I wanted more. I suppose we'll get more next year, but hopefully next year's we'll have a bit more heart in it. We'll have a bit more heart with the characters and the human side of it. But all in all, it was a good action film. A good, you know, 2 hours. So yeah, not what I was expecting. Left me a little bit disappointed, but you can't have everything. But how would I rate it? On a summer where we've got all these massive blockbusters coming out, I'm going to rate it at 7. I'm going to rate it at 7 out of 10. I think that's fair. But hopefully there'll be bigger films to come, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad film. It was just a standard monster action fest. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my little review of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I did see it in 2D, so it might be something worth seeing in 3D, because there's a lot of stuff going on screen. So whether or not the 3D works, it might just oversaturate the screen and everything. But and there were some quite dark scenes, so you might suffer for that. But I would have liked to have seen it in 3D. So if anybody's seen it in 3D, let me know, how the 3D was, and if there were things flying at you, and if there's a lot of depth and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my review of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So hope you enjoyed the little review. Don't forget to comment down below, share, and give the video a thumbs up. And I'll see you on the next video. And don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye, my friends.